Hi everyone, my name is Dima Koltsov and today I represent the sound design team of Wavelet Audio. In this video, I want to show you how I created this cool whoosh for our new library, Secunda. Our whoosh will consist of 4 layers. The first layer is the main layer. That's the main idea for our whoosh. That's what all the other layers will be glued to. The second layer is the bass layer, mostly the sounds with frequencies in the lower register. The third layer is a tonal sound to create some tonal character in some melodic or not so melodic format. And the noise layer. This last layer is more necessary for the usual filling of the spectrum and creating a more cinematic effect. Let's start with the basics. I started to make most whoosh sounds with granular synthesis. Let's take some sample. Well, this one will do just fine. Now let's do some automation on the volume and position of the sample in the granulator. I want to tweak the parameters around a bit. I'm going to create some additional automation on the volume to shape our whoosh. And let's render the whole thing. Now let's add some reverb. Basically, I'm good with this. Let's try to add some flanger for a little experiment. I don't like how wide it sounds. Let's turn it down a little bit. Okay, the next layer is bass, and it's mostly in the low frequencies, so you can literally make it out of any sound. For example, I'm going to take a fireworks sound and try to get the low frequencies out of it. Now I'm going to add distortion to it. I'll also add R-bass to get more low end out of it. A value of 52 is the most optimal value I've found for a bright sub. A little EQ. I don't like the way the mids and highs sound, and I want our sub mostly in mono so it doesn't need a lot of attention. Let's add the Oxford inflator. It's like a wave shaper, and let's add another EQ. You can also add a reverb. That's good, that's good. So let's go to the tonal layer. I want to make it in Serum. Let's take a more brighter envelope. Let's add the filter and first LFO modulation on this filter to make it sound more like a pad. We need delay and reverb for atmosphere. A little bit of chorus for a wider sound. And distortion for more expressive harmonics. Here it is. I want to add a little more FM modulation to make it brighter and more expressive. And add on another oscillator. I will also put some automation on it. Might try some creative filtering and add a little top end for a brighter sound. Yeah, add a little bit of bass. Let's render this sound. A little bit of EQ, and let's try and cut out the noisy frequencies. We're just putting our tonal. Let's smooth things out with some reverb. A little bit of distortion to compress all of that. And a little bit of delay. Okay, I want to duplicate that and pitch down the second sound down an octave for a bigger sound. Let's add some LFO modulation to give some movement to our sound and listen to it all together. I'm basically happy with everything. Let's slowly move on to the noisy layer. For the most part, it's needed to fill in the atmosphere, the spectrum, and create a more cinematic sound. You can start with anything at all, with any rustling sound. This time I decided to use a tonal resonating metal kick. Let's get more resonating sound out of it. I'm going to stretch it out. I want to pitch it up because I don't like the way it sounds in the lower frequencies. But the pitch shifter won't work for that because it won't work right. In this case, the wrong distortion will appear, so I use the frequency shifter. You can also cut out the noisy artifacts that appear afterwards and smooth it out with a reverb. Let's add the same LFO modulation, slow it down a little bit. I also decided to pick a simple voice sample that we recorded and put it on top. I stretched it out a little bit. A little bit of EQ, a little bit of reverb. I also want more noisier stuff in the background, so I took a regular recording of the sound of rain, pitched it down, and put it in our mix. I want to add a little bit of bass here. It fills the space. Let's add a little bit of reverb. Basically, yeah. I just filled in all these missing noisy frequencies to create a more organic cinematic sound for our whoosh. That's just one of many formulas for creating whooshes like this. It is not necessary to follow this formula every time. This example was just for demonstration purposes. There are, as I said before, simply thousands and one ways to create a similar sound design. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this content can be useful for you, and see you soon.